everyone, this is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be using the Tati Beauty palette along with the Blendiful. I had done a recent haul on this. I will link that for you just to show you all the other goodies I picked up. And we're going to start with a base. So I'm going to use the Blendiful. This is what it looks like. So it's actually fairly big, nice and clean. I haven't washed it yet. This is the first time I've used it, so I've watched a couple of reviews where some of the little particles, like the little gets on your face. So keep in mind this is the first time. Maybe after the first wash that will go away. So I'm going to use my Hangover RX face primer to put some moisture into my skin. So I'm just going to bend a little bit, and I'm going to put this all over. It feels really nice on the skin. And then we're going to double prime. I'm going to use the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Skin Smoothing Face Primer. And I'm just going to put this in my problem areas. So again, I'm going to use the very tip of the sponge, but just a tiny bit. And this one, normally I would swipe with this sponge, or this makeup applicator. But I like to press the pore filling primer in. So that's what we're doing here. Just in my problem areas. Next is foundation. So this was also in my recent haul. This is my new Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Full Coverage Foundation in the shade 22G Light Golden. I'm going to use the same little area that I used the primer on, and I'm going to swipe it on my face. I'm not patting in here. I want to see how fast I can get a full coverage look with this. But it is just sitting on top. Okay, so I am swiping it, and I'm getting really streaky, just streaks everywhere, so I'm not sure if it could be the foundation. I watched Angela Bright's video, and she was patting it, but it's supposed to be swept on. And it looks like my foundation is kind of even. I don't know, I just have really dark under eye circles right now, so it's hard to tell. I'm just going to build up the coverage a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to say that's done. I don't really know how I feel about this foundation though. I'm going to try it with a sponge, and I'll also try it with a brush, because it's never good to try two brand new things together because you don't know which one is a fail or which one's a hit. And so far I've heard only good things about this Blendiful. So I'm going to go ahead and conceal. I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape in Light Sand. So with this, I'm going to basically bend a corner of the sponge just to get right underneath my eyes. And I'm also going to put this on my eyelid. Okay, I really like how that blends the concealer in. That was super fast, too. Okay, so we're going to use this for powder. My Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder for this. I think my face looks really natural. I think it looks really good. I'm going to continue using this just to see how the application wears other foundations I've never used. I think just practice and practice makes perfect, so I think I like it so far. I don't mind this. At first I was unsure about the foundation, but it doesn't look too bad. My skin looks so natural right now. And it blended really nice. So I'm going to do the rest of my face, and then I'll go off camera and do brows. So I'm going to bronze with my Tarte Princess. I'm going to use a sponge, not the sponge, but the Blendiful. So I'm going to take a clean area, fold it in half, dip it in the powder, and contour gently. And then I'm just using another side to blend out that product I've applied. I really like this. I'm going to try it again. I'm so excited. Yeah, I think it looks really, really nice. Okay, I don't want to go overboard on the contour. So for blush, I'm going to use the Goldrush blush in the Cheekleaders Mini Bronze Squad. I think this gives a very natural finish. For highlight, I will use the Cookie highlighter in the middle of this palette. Okay, guys, so we're going to go off camera, do eyebrows now, and then we will be back to check out Tati's palette. Eyebrows are all done, and I also sprayed my face with some Too Faced Hangover RX 3-in-1 setting spray just to kind of set everything in place. So I feel like my skin's in a really good spot right now. Everything looks natural. I look kind of glowy, which I don't mind right now. So here is Tati's palette. So it comes in this little sleeve, and it says Volume 1. I can't wait to see what else she comes out with. And it has a little plastic protector and these gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous colors. So I have been waiting to get my hands on Ritual, which is like the brown shade. I love that. And I think between the brown shade, Soothe, which is that nice caramel shade, and Aura, I think I'm going to stick with those today. So it is going to be a neutral look. And I think I'm going to also try doing a halo eye. I'm going to sparkle on the inner part of the eye. Usually I don't like to do halo eyes because my eyes are so, I don't want to say they're so small, but they're really round, and halo eye just makes them look smaller. But I'm going to try to blow it out and see what we can do here. So I'm going to start with the shade Soothe, which is the caramel color. I'm going to dip into the matte one. I will use an E35 by Sigma tapered blending, but because my makeup is done, I will be tapping off, and this is my first time using this palette. We'll talk about the blending and how it blends. As for kickback, you know what, there wasn't that much, definitely less than Anastasia palettes, and I barely had any on my brush at all, and it gave me a really nice eye contour. I literally just dipped into the palette twice and tapped off the brush. So I have a feeling that this is going to be an amazing discovery, an amazing palette. So I'm just going to build up the color a little bit more, and I'm going to bring it a tad higher than I have it on my eye right now. Okay, so I'm still building up the color. I'm just, again, bringing it a little higher than I originally had it, just to kind of have a nice base to set the halo eye on the lid. I already love this color. I could probably get away with just wearing this color and I'd be good. So I'm just going to dip into Aura now, which is the very pale color. And I'm just going to clean up the edges a little bit and blend out the edges. I feel like I got a little carried away with the left-hand side here. We're going to go into with an E25 blending brush now. And I'm going to dip it into Ritual. So Ritual, the matte brown, and I'm going to start with the halo eye. So I'm going to pat it on the inner corner, bring it up to the crease just a tiny bit, and the outer corner, and then we're going to build up the color. I love how that looks. That is so pretty. It's not that dark, and I don't think I want to go extremely dark today because I want to have a really bright center. So I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to dip into Memory, which is black shade. I'm just going to maybe build up the color a tad more with the brown. And in order to get right into that inner corner, I might have to switch to a pencil brush. I'm just going to continue packing on the brown, and I'm not experiencing any fallout, nothing like that, so this is amazing. I'm done with that. I'm going to go back in with the first brush and just gently take more Soothe and blend in the crease just to blend out that dark brown shadow. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm just going to go back in and darken up where I lost some of that color on the outside corner and inside corner. Literally just packing on the shade here. I think I want to use Sequin first, and I'm going to use Aura. So Sequin right on that middle part. But I am going to go in with a wet brush, and I will use an E25. So we will spray it with the Milani Make It Last. and just pop it right on the center. Okay, and now to blend that out, because it's like a really crazy transition, I'm going to take a little bit of Ritual Sequin, and I will use a clean pencil brush for this, I think, because I want it to be a smaller brush and just blend the edges. And then I'm just going to take that brush again, the wet E25, which we put Aura on, use it again in the sequin shade, and just pop it right in the center, just basically overlapping all the shades so it doesn't look too crazy. This is an Exact Blend E32. I'm going to wet it and just go back into Aura again, Aura Sequin, and that will be the final touch. And I might just pat it up with my finger a bit here. And just to kind of finish up this look, I'm going to take that little pencil brush I used the sequin shade on with the brown, and just connect up here in my crease, and that is it for the upper lash line. So I'm going to go ahead and use the same pencil brush in the lower lash line, but I'm just going to use sequin in Ritual Sequin and trim along the lash line here. And I think I'm just going to stick to the outer half, and I'm going to dip my finger into Aura Glitter and just add a little topper right in the center. And then on the bottom lash line, I might use Ritual Glitter and just put a little bit on the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to line my eyes. So the pencil liner I'm going to use is actually an Avon True Color Glimmerstick Waterproof Eyeliner in the shade Brown Chocolate. And then I'm going to line my upper lash line with this Tarte Precision Longwear Liner, Lights Camera Lashes. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Apply mascara, which is my usual. I'll leave everything listed down below in case you're curious, and we'll be right back. So I decided to not do the lashes only because I figured with the sparkle on the bottom, the sparkle on the top, just having mascara on would make this look pop even more, and you can see the sparkle better. And so I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But for lips, I was going to do like a fancy lip liner and lipstick, but I'm just going to stick with my Buxom Plumping lip polish. This is the shade Sarina, and it's brown to go with this chocolate themed look. And I think it's just going to really set everything off really well. Okay, so first of all, I love this lip gloss, by the way. It's like the most tingly, plumping lip polish lip gloss you'd ever find. I love it. So we're just going to do one more thing, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the Blendiful and Tati's palette. So I'm going to take a little bit of Aura, but I think I'm going to go into, I'm not sure if I want to use sequin or the metallic. Let's go into the metallic, and I'm going to add a little bit of inner corner highlight and a little bit on the brow bone as well. So we're using Aura Metallic. I'm just using my little shader crease E47 brush to apply because my other brushes are all dirty again. And I'm mixing it with the matte shade because I find it's not really popping as much as I want it to. A little bit on the brow bone. If I use the matte shade, at least it's not like a crazy shiny highlight. I think that's all I really need. Okay, so my thoughts on Blendiful. I think I need to use it more. So first of all, I need to wash it because that was my first use. And second, I need to use a foundation and products that I'm using all the time. Everything else went on really well. I really like how my skin looks. And I also want to use that foundation with one of my preferred, not preferred methods, but methods I usually use. So my tried and true, the Real Techniques makeup sponge, a brush. I want to see how it applies with that because it could have just been the foundation. And as for the Blendiful, I think it would work great on cream products and powder products. I used foundation concealer, which are cream, and then the contour and the blush, and they went on good. My blush isn't really showing up, so I could probably use more, but it could have been the blush I used. I mean, we could check right now, and I could put a little bit more on. I kind of like this little natural look, though. I'm going to go into another Benefit palette. This is Benefit Pretty in the USA with Rockateur. Rockateur is one of my favorite blushes by them. And I'll dip the same edge that I use the blush and just see if I can get a better color payoff. Yeah, I think it might have just been the blush. And besides, when your skin looks this good, you don't want to over-color it and over-powder it. So, I think that's it. As for the palette, oh my gosh, guys, I think it's my new favorite palette. Seriously. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that I'm a color girl. I do not like neutral palettes. Not that I don't like them, there's always a use for them. But they're not my favorite. They're not something I go to every day. But this, oh my gosh, like the way that the sparkle goes on, like I could do an entire lid if I used like a glitter glue or something. It would look fantastic. And I don't even think these sparkles are going to come off anytime soon. But just, I think this is going to be my new date night go-to. I love sparkle in the eye, especially on the lower lash line. I think it's just so pretty. So yeah, I'm going to be getting a lot of use out of that palette. I'm so happy I finally got it. I was one of those people who were late on the train. So that's it for this makeup look. If you guys enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're new here, subscribe because it would help me out so much. And click that bell notification button so you won't miss any videos from me. And we'll talk to you very soon. Bye now.